Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. Yeah, on the Ethereum chart, we've got this wave 4 pullback still here. Well, we might have completed this pullback, but it is not very evident yet. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, we basically only had a 3-wave corrective rally. The move down did what it needed to do, to be fair. I mean, we have an A, B, C structure to the downside, and the low could actually be in. Yeah, the low could actually be in. It has really done enough in terms of, let's say, correcting down. It's reached downside targets here, the 100% extension level. When we say this is the A wave down, then the C wave tends to have the same length. Of course, the C wave could go longer. Of course, it always can. And unless we see, let's say, an impulse to the upside from the lows, or at least a leading diagonal, we cannot really confirm that a low has formed. Okay, so there is never a low without a 5-wave move up. It always leaves the door open for another dip, and that's just something that we focus on in the analysis to try to identify those risks and to understand if the chart has actually given us those 5 waves to the upside that we need to see. And it's a very similar structure now to Bitcoin, even though Ether is holding better than Bitcoin. Now, I can tell you already that we haven't seen a 5-wave move up from the low yet. So that's the thing, right? Haven't seen that 5-wave move up. Therefore, it is reasonable to be watching for another lower low, or at least we have to be prepared by it. Looking at this time frame here, you can see that the chart didn't even form a higher high. We haven't even taken out those swing highs from the 13th of April. So that hasn't happened. Therefore, it is still possible that we are in the white count. The yellow one is a count to observe, but there is no high probability setup. What's the yellow count? Well, in the yellow count, we completed the correction and would now already rally in the wave 5 to the upside into the $4,000 region. However, we have no 3 waves up. Yeah, and this chart is a bit of a mess anyway because it broke the support level, the 50% retracement. It reached, however, when we look at the internals, the next target range. Absolutely. I mean, that can still go lower, you know. As I said, this is at the moment an ideal target range if we form another low, but can always stretch out a bit further. As I said, there is no low until we see a first 5-wave move up followed by a 3-wave pullback. And the problem we have at the moment is that yesterday's rally looked very corrective. So it's only a 3-wave corrective rally, which topped here locally at around $3,280. So while with a 3-wave move up, we could see further upside extensions, we should really see follow through to the downside. See, anything could happen, but not anything should happen. Well, if it still happens, then we have to adjust our perspective. So there's this fine but important difference between should and could. The analysis tells us what should happen because anything could always happen. We know that. Hopefully everybody knows that. That anything, of course, could happen, but not everything should. If it still happens, okay, if still the less likely pathway is being followed, then all we can do is adjust and look for the next probable setups. I don't really have a reliable setup here anyway. I mean, there isn't really anything that gives me nice 5 waves to the upside. But we had 5 waves down. That's the thing. That's why I mentioned yesterday we might be looking for another low, similar to the Bitcoin chart. I posted that on Twitter yesterday. We had those 5 waves down here from the high, 3 waves up, 5 waves down, opens the door for the white C wave to unfold. And unless we see a convincing break above micro resistance, which I just need to adjust very slightly maybe, yeah. It's between 3,150 and 3,224. Unless we see a convincing break above that micro resistance, I'm going to watch for the C wave down. Why? Well, the main reason is because we had 3 waves up, 5 waves down. Still, though, we understand this is a small time frame, so it could easily change. I mean, these are very fragile wave structures on the smallest time frames, but they're all we have together with structural and Fibonacci support and resistance. And the resistance area is clear. It's also clear that if resistance breaks, I mean, we look at higher, right? What would happen then? If it goes higher from here, then I would first look for an extended B wave and that it basically just did this. there's probably something that we have to watch for. A, B, C. The reason is that while the yellow count is possible, which would be a 5-wave move up, yeah, I mean, that 4th wave was too deep to really be reliable. It will depend on how the next move up looks, but if it's a 5-wave move, it's likely wave C of B. And then we can still look for lower from there because it forms a large 3-wave structure. But that all depends on which Fibonacci levels are being reached and so on. Bear in mind, there should be a lot of resistance in this region around 3,520, 3,550. All these, this chopping around that Fib level up there. But for now, as long as we stay below resistance, we go with the white count here as it was. And we'll see if today's low is going to be taken out. If it is, then it's likely here a 1-2 and the 3rd wave down of the C wave. And it might target $2,600 next. That's my update about Ether. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.